Hi everyone, it's Cassie, the Young Teen Librarian at East Hampton Library. Today we are continuing with our Young Teen First Chapter Readings program. In this program, I will be reading the first chapter in a new or old book in the Young Teen collection here at East Hampton Library. And the book I will be reading today is called Sunnyside Plaza by Scott Simon. And as always, I start by reading the description within the front cover of the book to give you a synopsis of what the book is about, and then I will continue with the first chapter. We were all by ourselves in the world outside. I was scared. I was excited. I took a step, and then another. I was so excited, I stopped counting steps. Sally Miyake can't read, but she learns lots of things, like that bricks are made of clay and vitamin D comes from the sun. Sally is happy working in the kitchen at Sunnyside Plaza, the community home where she lives in with other adults with developmental disabilities. Everything changes the day a resident unexpectedly dies. After a series of tragic incidents, detectives Esther Rivas and Lon Bridges begin asking questions. Are the events accidents, or is something more disturbing happening? The suspicious deaths spur Sally and the other residents to take the investigation into their own hands. But are people willing to listen? Sunnyside Plaza is a human story of empowerment, empathy, hope, and generosity that shines a light on this very special world, perfect for fans of wonder and 3 times lucky. Chapter 1. I can't read, but I learn a lot of things. Bricks are made of clay. Vitamin D comes from the sun. The sun is millions of miles away. There are 8 times 4 squares of tile on the ceiling of my room. I see that 2 times 8 plus 4 are cracked, and 2 times 8 plus 1 have brown stains. Smooth, strong, and satisfying. There are 4 times 8 plus 4 stairs from the 3rd floor to the 1st. Venice is in Italy, but also in Ohio and Florida. Fast, fast, fast relief. Florida has alligators and crocodiles. They're not the same, but both bite. Snap, crackle, pop, or your money back. Gets those hard-to-reach areas. Shirts have 8 buttons, but I button 7 because I don't button the top. I notice things. Today is April 24, and at 6:04 in the morning, I came down the 4 times 8 plus 4 steps to work. I work in the kitchen of Sunnyside Plaza and live upstairs too, on floor 3. There are 4 other people in my room: Mary, Pilar, Trish, and Sharon, and Ray, Julius, and Tony next door. There are 5 people in the room next to us, and 4 people in the room next to them. There are 5 rooms too, on floor 2. When I get downstairs in the morning, I always take 8 paper bowls at a time from the kitchen to the dining room. I do this 8 times, so there is a bowl for everybody and a few left over. Conrad the cook was already in the kitchen. He has a big, soft red face and a sing-song voice. "Good morning, Sal," he called. "Check the spoons too, please." The white plastic spoons were in a small steel tub. I counted 8 spoons 7 times, and then 6 more spoons. "There is 1 for everybody," I told Conrad, "and 1, 2, 3, 4 extra." He sipped coffee and looked over at stacks of sliced bread. "Ham sandwich lunch today," he told me. "I'll see if we have enough slices of cheddar, too. You like mustard or mayonnaise on yours?" I made a face. "I remember," Conrad laughed. "Nothing on yours, Sal gal. Have some breakfast, dear, before they all come down. It's the most peaceful time of the day. Not a problem in the world can't be brightened by sunrise." I live here because my mother got sick when I was in her stomach, and then she couldn't take care of me. She went somewhere and hasn't come back. I lived in a few different homes and finally got here to Sunnyside Plaza. I'm 8 times 2 plus 3. My mother will be back when she can take care of me. Sometimes at night, I wake and I think I hear my mother in the hallway. I hear her voice, or hear someone's voice, and I'm sure it's her. I hear someone take a step, and I think it's her. I think she's just about to throw open the door. I hear her say, "Hey Sal, let's get out of here." It's hard to get back to sleep. So I sing to myself, a song she sang to me and I still hear. "Hush little baby, don't say a word." I hear that song in my mother's voice. My name is Sally. Sometimes Sal Gal, Sal Pal, or Sally Pally. It helps me feel like different people when I want. Someday, I want to go to the North Pole too. I want to know how to swim. I want a dog. "Hey, Sally Pally," said Darnell. He was usually first for breakfast. "Cheerios here?" "Picture on the box," I told him. "Love my Cheerios," he said. "Little bitty wheels roll down my throat, roll around in my belly." Darnell had a big belly, and he patted it like a drum to a tune only he knew. Da 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 dee, Cheerios going into me. And then Mary, my best friend, and David came down soon and poured some cornflakes. Then Julius and Tony and Pilar. There were 2 cartons of milk and 2 cartons of orange juice, and Tony shook cornflakes into a bowl and poured orange juice over them. "Ew," said Pilar. "You're crazy," went David. But Tony just said, "I like them that way. Corn and orange. Corn is orange. Orange corn." "You are crazy," Darnell agreed. "Can I try?" A red light from outside flashed and blinked over our tables. Dorothy, a nurse who worked all night, stepped out quickly. "Just eat your breakfast, folks. I have to let in some people. No problem, just enjoy your cereal." The front door buzzed. Dorothy opened it. There was one man and one woman in dark blue who pushed in a small bed on wheels. Dorothy said the elevator was in the back, and the woman said, "That's okay, we can carry this. Let's just get up there." We heard their heavy boots on the stairs. They whispered, but we couldn't hear what they said. "I'm drawing a cat today," Darnell told everyone, "like the cat I have with my mom." "Bunny's better," said Pilar. "People eat bunnies," said Isaac. He had come down to breakfast, but just stood to watch the blinking red light outside turn around and around. "Nobody eat my bunny," said Pilar. "I'll bite people who bite my bunnies." "I'm going to make bunny Cheerios," said Darnell. Jimmy, who always wore an old brown army coat, always said birdie even inside where we could see no birds. He heard bunny and said birdie for the first time I heard that day. We heard the elevator in the back of the house wheeze and grumble. A little while later the red light stopped blinking over the room. We heard voices of men and women outside, and then a car, what sounded like a big car, drove away. A while later, Mrs. Byrne, the nurse who ran everything at the home, came into the room where we had breakfast. Dorothy, too. And Bob, a nurse with a beard and glasses. Mrs. Byrne's dark face was shiny, and she thumped her hand just below her neck a few times, as if that would help her get words out of her mouth. "Is everyone here?" she finally asked. We all looked around. We saw the cereal, the milk cartons, and the calendar on the wall with pictures of kittens. I wanted one page to stay up all the time. It was a little orange kitten with white paws and a pink nose, asleep in a heart-shaped candy box. But then they had to flip the page. Sometimes, when no one else was nearby, I flipped to that page and looked at that kitten. I looked for Matt, Keisha, and Vi, who don't talk or move much, but eat with spoons and look out wherever they are at whatever is in front of them. They were there. I didn't see Stu, Dennis, Lawrence, or Charlene, but they usually came a little late because they got to the bathroom later. Mary said, "Talia is still upstairs. She said she doesn't like cereal. She said she wants toast. She says—" "I'll have to talk to her after this," said Mrs. Byrne, "and I don't see Marcus." "Still in the bathroom," said Isaac, and a few people began to giggle. We could hear him. He was going, "Oh, wow, yow." "Marcus too," said Mrs. Byrne. "I'll talk to everyone when I can. But I have some sad news, I'm afraid." It's Lawrence. Lawrence won't be here anymore." There was a silence. "His mother brought him home?" I asked. "No," said Mrs. Byrne. "Not quite, dear, but in a way. You see, God brought Lawrence home." "God brought him to his mama?" asked Darnell. "That red light, I thought it was God," said Mary. But I could see Conrad take off the white cap he wore in the kitchen and come around the serving table to put a hand on Mary's shoulder. "Maybe I better start again," said Mrs. Byrne. "Lawrence, he's dead. He died last night, in his sleep. The paramedics were just here and says it looks like what they call a stroke in his head, but Lawrence was asleep. It was very peaceful, I'm sure. That nice man and woman in blue took him away. But Lawrence, I'm afraid Lawrence is gone. He's dead." "Will he be back for lunch?" asked Darnell. "Should we save his cookie?" And that is the end of Chapter 1 of Sunnyside Plaza by Scott Simon. I hope you all really enjoyed it, and I hope that you will all join me next time for another first chapter reading. Bye, everyone.